Hey guys, it's RodimusPrimal. We are live and we are here to chill and chat with you guys. So
no method to the madness. We're just
no method to the madness. It's literally a chill stream. And if you guys saw the thumbnail, you probably know we are starting to get snowed in. Well, at least I'm getting snowed in. You're down south.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Good. It was a chilly 60 degrees, and put my hoodie on. I'm good to go.
Yeah, no, here where I'm living right now, it is 28 degrees outside Fahrenheit for those of you who work on the Celsius thing. But at 28 degrees Celsius or 28 degrees Fahrenheit, we are looking at we're going to probably get hit with like 8 to 12 inches of snow. So just going, I say what's up to everybody here. I see, man, the comments are piling on in now. Here we go. Kato, Christian Milchev. If I'm butchering your names, I'm sorry. Decade Prime, what's going on? Stephanie Jimenez, Jason Wallace, Liam Rigby, G1 Blot, Lord Asura, Inutabi. There he is. Captain Crunch.
That's the best name. Where is that? I didn't see that. Where's Captain
Crunch?
Oh, that's a great name.
Brightest Night, Samuel Franks, critic, artists, Catherine Campbell. It's good. The names are going to start popping in now as more people are starting to show up. Lego, AWC Stop Motioner, Gigamus Prime. Yeah. We are just chilling here. Well,
people got nothing to do.
It's snowing out like crazy here, man. We were probably build a snowman once the snow starts to like die down a little bit, so I can actually take the kids outside and, they've been looking out the window, but until my kids started to take their naps. But then I was like, you know what? I haven't talked to everybody, like either live or here or about what's going on in the channel, and I've been kind of quiet, on the channel in and of itself. Because I don't know, like I feel like I'm grinding my gears to get more content out to you guys,
Well, I think as like content creators, whatever you want to call us, I know personally, and the folks that I'm around, every once in a while, even if new product comes out, we're just like, I ain't feeling it. And if you're not feeling it when you put a video out, it shows.
Yep. Yeah.
Because you're not in it, your heart's not in it. You kind of halfway do it, and it happens. I mean, it happens to everybody, I think.
Yep. Yeah, and it's not that I don't want to put stuff out, because literally I have 45 folders full of just Transformers topics to cover that I want to do videos for.
Good Lord.
That I just started doing. I did a lot of research on. I've already done outlines on most of them, gotten images on a bunch of them, just to like, I don't know, like just to, because I want to put more content out, and I want to do the same thing for my second channel. I mean, I want to do like Godzilla reviews, and I want to do like, I just watched, because I was burnt out. I was like, I don't even feel like watching a Transformers episode. So I watched Platoon, and then I watched the next Karate Kid. And I want to review those on the second channel. So
we've been doing kind of the same thing. We've been binge watching we went back and started watching The Mentalist. It's that every once in a while we'll watch Tombstone. We'll watch Band of Brothers. That's our go-to. Like when when nothing else is on, we'll fire up Band of Brothers and go through that series. It's about that time again.
Yeah, I actually did a Godzilla versus, I just saw the comment, Godzilla versus King Kong, or King Kong versus Godzilla. I actually did a review for that on the second channel. That's one of my retro reviews. And I want, because the point of my Godzilla reviews was to do, and I'm sorry if I'm cutting you off, but was to do, I want to do all of the Godzilla movies leading up until this new Godzilla versus Kong movie comes out. I mean, I can't wait to see Godzilla versus Kong. That's gonna be awesome.
I miss going to theaters. I love that we're getting the option to watch stuff at home. I really do, because it's just comfortable and you can kind of do your own thing and all that. But I miss watching big movies in the theaters like Godzilla, all the really massive movies that they play better when you're looking like this.
Yeah.
Everything is just larger than life.
Well, I mean, you want to see a giant monster, right. You want to see it on the big screen.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, I love my home theater, but there's something about that just ginormous screen when you're looking up and Godzilla or Transformers or whatever, the big budget movie of the year. All your Marvel heroes are literally larger than life, 20 feet tall on the screen.
Yeah, exactly. There's just nothing else like going to a theater and and having a crowd full of people and their reactions and what they're thinking, because you get a good flavor of people and their different opinions. And, some people are like, no, don't do it. It's nice hearing that in the crowd, like as stupid as it sounds. But I mean, in theater, I guess in theaters, you're, it's just kind of like that audience, energy that just feels like so much better than, and the size of the screen. So,
yeah. But you're right. The crowd feedback makes a difference. Like, I mean, I can enjoy a movie at home. I can watch Avengers Endgame here at the house and like the movie. But there was something about watching that in the theater and you're hearing other people go, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Or watching a horror movie in the theater and hearing people go, scream or get scared. Just like, I don't do concerts. I don't really like going to concerts, but it's that same kind of crowd feedback and energy that you get when you're, and to some degree, and for what we do, it's the somewhat equivalent to like the live chat and seeing the feedback and talking to people and interacting. It makes
seeing everybody's here, because everybody's talking about HBO Max, and I see you there, Marcus and Duke and Fateh Sahai, Quentin. I'd like to have a Zoom meeting with you. Yeah, I mean, we'd love to chat and stuff, and there's lots of stuff to talk about here. How's it going there, MDC? MDJ ACDC.
Really good guy.
Very good guy.
I am in South Carolina.
Yeah, I'm in Jersey, and like I said, we're expected to get hit with like a foot of snow. So the snow's already starting to come down. 28 degrees outside, all that fun stuff. And I just wanted to show off some of the Transformer stuff that I've gotten, that I wanted to do reviews, but I just, like I said, just like the energy to do it, and I wanted to talk about like this guy, like Sunstreaker, and how I want him to have a spoiler, and he needs to fill in those gaps on the legs and, something. But, and I got a blaster here. I think Fire Talks made the actual blaster, right?
Oh, it might be.
And Larkin printed it for us. Could be. I don't know. I don't know who designed the actual blaster, but
Larkin pops in, he can tell us.
Yeah. That's if he's too busy or not. What's going on, Raziel?
I love Fire Talks. You were mentioning like the HBO. They were talking about HBO Max and stuff. I'm gonna get that. I got it not that long ago, like the free trial. I forget what I was wanting, what I watched so much on there, but I'll get it again because I am very curious about the Snyder cut for Batman and Superman.
I'm curious about that too. And the thing is like, do I want to spend the extra money for another streaming service that I may or may not use?
Start a free trial. And just do it for that. But I'll continue it too, because if they're going to do this next year, they're saying like their theater releases and movie releases will be at the same time. I'll take advantage of that for sure.
Yeah,
I'd rather go to the theater. But
so would I. I absolutely would rather go to the theater to see movies. And it's, to get out of the house and have someone, because the other problem is that I want to be able to watch a movie with my wife and be able to enjoy it like for a date night.
Exactly.
And you can't quite do that, because I got two kids. I got to be able to get them, in bed, or I have to get someone to watch them to be able to do a date night. You can't quite do a date night If the date night is, taken over by kids and they're running around the theater, and you got to pay attention.
It's not exactly easy nowadays to get a babysitter because of everything that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
having people come over.
Well, granted, like according to like some states, like you can't go visit your son-in-law or whatever, or you can't visit your kids, but what, like you're gonna stop my parents from being able to see their grandkids? It's like we can't go anywhere, so why can't we can't they get out of the house either? So
completely agree. I mean, some places, like I've got a buddy that lives out of the country, and they have very strict limits. Like it's 150 meters. Like you can't you're not supposed to travel. I may be wrong on the measurements because meters. Hey John, and hey G1 Optimus, I saw you there. But like they have like a certain amount of people they're allowed to see. Like he can only basically has one person, and she has one person that they're allowed to have contact. It's so weird, like the rules.
I know, and it almost is getting to the point. I understand it. Like I understand, because we've had, we know people who've had it and they've gotten sick, and they've gotten better. And I mean, I am aware of one person that I met in person that I know that passed from it. But there does come a limit of safety, and there comes a limit of like how much lockdown do you have to do? Like it just.
No, I totally get the politicians and stuff having to try to weigh out what's right and what's fair and what's freedom and what's safety. I get all that. It's a hard rope to walk. I think Duke to go asked, what is that enormous blue prime behind you? I've never seen that.
All right, we want to zoom in on this one here for you.
That is I can't remember who made it now.
Yeah, you're on screen now, dude.
Here, let's see. I'll grab it. It's a conversation piece. That's why we do it, right?
That is
definitely an enormous prime. It's massive. It does transform. There is a video on my channel of transforming.
Oof.
Oh God, it's like a big fat baby. It's
a giant MP10, isn't it?
It's the MPP10, which was the third-party version of MP10. It's MPP10 was like an oversized MP10. That is, I seriously am having a brain fart on who actually made that thing, but it's huge and it's heavy, and it actually transforms. Don't hurt your back. Good.
Yeah, I saw you there. You're trying to lift that thing. I'm looking at Sunstreaker, man. I know this is like your favorite transformer. That's why I'm like showing them off.
Without a doubt, love
like
Sunstreaker.
The thing is like everybody agrees. Why didn't he have a spoiler? Like, why didn't he have a blaster? And
not only did he not have a blaster, the blaster they gave him didn't really fit in his hand.
Well, that's because they made that piece his blaster, which makes no sense. It's his air intake, and it's normally supposed to be his backpack. And it's a cool toy. It's a really cool toy. The problem that a lot of people have is the yellow here and the yellow on the back being a different color than the plastic, which apparently Toy Hacks does fix. And it's a cool toy overall, but it's
like 95% Sunstreaker.
Yeah. Yeah, that you could say. It's 95% Sunstreaker. And in robot mode, I really dig him. I think that they built him out of the robot mode. Like that was the whole idea. But they designed him. He was made after Wheeljack. Like it's the same engineering, I think,
right, for
Wheeljack, and that was done really well. So, I can't complain about that.
Yeah, they crossed that. It's not really a remold. It's not. It's this weird like take on the engineering of Wheeljack and the
Well,
twin.
it's the same transformation. So like
Yeah.
the way the legs open up like this, and trying to do it on camera and like not look at the toy, but
Oh, thanks, Crimson. Yes, that's right. It's Lewin Resources. Good Lord, could not remember that. Lewin Resources Atlas. They're Captain America Prime.
there we go.
But they nailed so much of that. Like giving him the pylons on his shoulders, just a nod to those is great.
Yep.
The Lamborghini mode looks really good with the side pieces in the door. I mean, it's just like so close. But you have to wonder if Hasbro and the guys up there, the guys and gals in Hasbro, are like, well, we have this budget to do the figure, and
that's half of it.
Some 3D printer will make a gun and they literally gave you the ports to add a spoiler that every 3D
printer. I keep dropping it. I dropped it now twice, and it went somewhere.
Captain Crunch asks, where can you get Sunstreaker in person? Come to think of it, I don't think I've seen him in a store.
Yeah, I didn't get him in the store. In fact, I actually got him because of that Hasbro box. But which means that because Wave 3, everybody had a hard time finding. And I really feel bad for the people who are really trying to get their hands on them. And I've made a point to point that stuff out, that like people should be able to buy these Transformers toys. I really want Ironhide and Prowl. Mm-hmm. I really want Dirge and Ramjet. I really want Ratchet and Lifeline. And they sold out like this. What's that?
I've got to get better. I've got to get better at letting you know when I'm going hunting and finding stuff, because I haven't found a lot of that. But like I haven't even reviewed the Ironhide and Lifeline set, the medics.
FAO Schwartz, Jay Holla says FAO Schwartz, that's in Manhattan. So if you're in New York, you can get your hands on Wave 2 and 3 figures, I guess, for Earthrise in New York. I'm sure Big Pad Toy Store probably is able to get a bunch of stuff too. What's going on, Paper Plane?
Hey, Mark Knoll. That guy left me the nicest comment. I love seeing kind comments, and he really left me a good one.
Nice.
Thanks, Mark.
And it's Crimson Raptors. Yes, let's smash that like button. Everybody who's watching, just start hitting it.
Yeah, we got 85 people in here and 42 likes. And if you think they don't matter, it just helps the algorithm pump the
that
stuff
much
out
more.
there. So yeah, hit that like button.
I really dug this guy. I took him out of the box. Yep. What's that?
I like him a lot.
Yeah, Kingdom, and the thing is, I know Patriot had a hard time with the poor turret. I was like, dude, if you can get your hands on another one, just exchange it, because this one has no QC problems.
Well, and then they replaced it with an equal value. I forget what they gave him. He talked about it last night. It was terrible.
You know what? Even just that's fine. But if you can find another one in the store, just exchange it. Don't even think twice. I'm thinking about doing the same thing for my Shockwave for this, because Shockwave is a shell former, and mine has a weird problem with the leg. The one leg, it's got a soft ratchet to it, and it doesn't stay up. So like it just doesn't like do what it's supposed to do. The only thing about this Warpath though is like the transformation is a little weird to understand what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. The feet going like having to twist them just the right way at the right time.
You have to keep like unfolding them and then folding them in and then fold them back out, and you're like,
but it's clean though. Like it's it makes sense why it's like that.
Once everything lines up and does click together, it does come together very nicely. But getting it there.
And the instructions don't really do that good of a job of telling you what to do with the legs.
And I love the fact that he has the option to either have the cannon sticking out or have it pushed in. Like, I just love that. Like,
I'm a big fan of that bot. It was a lot of fun. Fantastic tank mode and a proper use of parts forming. Like with that I keep the shield on the back. I keep that little shield piece on the back off of his arm, but the way it tucks under the treads and closes that front end, I think that looks really good in alt mode.
I just heard my daughter yelling at my son. What was that?
Max asked if you'll do a Windblade retrospective.
Here, I want to do Windblade. I actually bring up let me actually look at the folder really quickly because it's just a huge folder of names I have of scripts that I'm writing for that because I want to do so many. Like Windblade is one of them. Wheelie. Actually, Wheelie is the one I have the most material written for, believe it or not. Prowl, Blur, Blaster, the Aerial Bots, Combaticons, Duocons, G2, Cassettes, Goldbug, Grimlock, Headmasters, Hoist, Hound, Impactor, Inferno, Cup, Power Masters, Predacons, Sideswipe, Six Shot, Skids, Skywarp, Thundercracker, Technobots, Target Masters, Trailbreaker, Warpath. Like I want to do like that's just how many names. Like I just rattle them off. Like how many I've done research on every single one of them. You know what I mean?
Someone mentioned earlier to me today. I did a poll on my community page, just a random question. I've been asking like a random question every other day or so, and someone said, I really like your reviews, but you should you should do some not retrospectives, but some character stuff like on Sunstreaker. And I was like, no, I don't have your patience. And I was like, no, I'd rather just go watch. I just said I'd rather go watch RodimusPrimal because I don't have the patience, wherewithal to do that much research and put out it. And I know if I can't do it well, I won't do it at all.
Yeah.
So I'll just watch yours.
I mean, like Sunstreaker, like I really dug to make sure that I gave that character justice because he's not in as many episodes as Sideswipe is. And he's a character that, like, if I was going to, and same thing with Gears, to do a character like Gears or Run Amok and Runabout, who's in like 2 episodes.
And really fun characters like Runabout and Runamuck are funny, they're funny characters. And
Beavis and Butthead intro was so fun to make.
Oh,
let me tell you,
that was hilarious.
I just had so much fun making it. Like it was just like that energy is how much energy I put into making each video, even if I don't do an intro like that.
Which is exactly why you're saying like having a little bit of not writer's block or whatever you want to call it for doing one, which is exactly why it's important to do one when you're feeling it.
Yep.
Because you can put that kind of work into it rather than just pump out something that
but when I have because I also get a lot of requests, and I'm really appreciative of people too. Like I'm very appreciative of people who like they give their comment and their feedback and like, hey, I want to see you do a video on this character or this character. And it's like, they're on my list. And it's not that I'm saying like that to like brush them off. No, how many folders do I got on my computer? Like I'm literally saying, hey, I'll do, I want to do, more of them. I want to do more videos on those characters and really give them the time of day. Like some characters, I know it's going to take me a long time to get to make everything fit in. Like, yeah, Scorponok is definitely one to do. What someone is asking me for.
Scorponok. Well, the thing is, like with the characters that had a lot of screen time and a lot of comic book time, and have been stretched out over the years, I would imagine there's a lot to go over.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like they're, it's you really just have to like do so much research for each thing. Like that Galvatron retrospective, when I did that, that ended up being 23 minutes because there was just that much just for Galvatron, and I couldn't do the character justice in 12 minutes, I couldn't just I couldn't, like, I felt like I if I went that short it would have ended up being a really poor video. And if I broke it up in 2 parts, you may only watch one part and not the other.
Yeah.
You know, you have to like, you know, place your bets on like what you want to do for a character. And you know, so when I make these videos, like I would love to have over 100 retrospectives done. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and it shows.
Yeah.
Now, I got a question for you. There's been some. I'll ask, even though I kind of know the answer to the first part. You collect stuff outside of Transformers, right? You have some action figures, right? Mm-hmm. NECA and things like that. Have you heard any of the Super 7 announcements this past week?
I saw the images for it.
Man, the Silverhawks. Oh, they finally announced that they have the Silverhawks license. Man, that made me so happy.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I wish it was someone else who had the license.
Oh, I 100%. I wish it was NECA or Bobby Valla, somebody like that. I would love
because Super 7 is really good at making. They're making good detailed statues that are semi-posable. You can move the arms, you can move the head.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. You know, I've been talking a little bit back and forth with Bobby Valla of Valaverse teaser. I'm gonna have him on Presents pretty soon. Keep an eye out. But he's the guy that, I don't know if you know who he is or not, but he used to work for Hasbro, and now he has his own crowdfunding action figure line, Action Force. He basically got the rights to the UK G.I. Joe name, Action Force, and started making his own figures. He used to design Marvel Legends and all this kind of stuff. And he got Sergeant Slaughter's name and likeness, which I ordered. I ordered the Sergeant Slaughter and Steel Battalion, a bunch of different characters, and some of the names that Hasbro has lost in the G.I. Joe line, he's picked up. And there's like a movie in the works now that he announced for Action Force, a comic book. Really, really cool guy.
The only thing about that is that then if Hasbro wants to do another G.I. Joe, do they have to come to him?
No, because as long as he uses characters that he has, and it's the Action Force brand, which was the UK name for G.I. Joe,
right?
Rather than G.I. Joe. So it can be its own universe, its own thing.
Right. No, what I'm saying is that what if Hasbro wants to release a character that he has now the name for?
Oh yeah, they would have to come to him for sure.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Like you won't get. It's very unlikely, I would suppose. I'm not a lawyer, that you would get a G.I. Joe classified Sergeant Slaughter, because Valaverse.
Well, here's the thing about that though. Sergeant Slaughter himself might be like held by WWE.
That's fair.
And point. That might be something that WWE might be able to like break that
let's see,
trademark for. But I don't know. I don't know the details behind that. Like that's something interesting. I keep Quentin keeps asking me to do something on Dr. Arkeville. I talked a little bit about Dr. Arkeville in my Nemesis Prime retrospective. About how he's the one that basically took Dr. Arkeville himself took the remains of that Prime copy from a Prime Problem and rebuilt it into Nemesis Prime. So at least that is pseudo canon. That's sweet looking. That is cool looking.
Yeah. So
I met him in person. Have you met him in person?
No, I have not. I have not.
He's cool. He's like chill.
Oh, Sergeant Slaughter?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Funny. I've told this story before. I used to work at a Circuit City in Charlotte, and he would travel down to Florida every year around Christmas, and he would come into Circuit City every year, and I ended up being the guy he would come to. Because I remember I was at the register and he walked in. There's no denying who he is. And I was at the register and I was trying to play it cool. And I said, I just want to say something. I said, I know you probably get a lot of comments about how much people appreciate you wrestling and everything. I said, but just so you know, I'm a bigger fan of you from G.I. Joe than I am from wrestling. And he got a big kick. He got a big kick out of that, and it was cool to see. And I've met him at a couple of conventions, but really good guy. Super quiet.
Like, I think he was there when I met him the same time. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, I think, was there that same weekend. And no, different venue. But no, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, same place. I met Hacksaw Jim Duggan. But definitely loved him in G.I. Joe as just as much as wrestling. So,
like, he's such a cool, calm, and quiet guy.
Yep,
like, he's just very, very chill.
Except for when he's actually sitting there going, get those Cobra coming with his tank.
Yeah. So I mean, definitely look into that Voliver stuff. And here's the thing. Here's the kicker. It's a great price point between Classified and Super 7. Because Super 7 to me is a little like the $50 price range for an action figure is.
It's overpriced.
Yeah. G.I. Joe Classified being around $22. The Valiverse figures are right at $30. Tons of accessories. I'm curious
how much. I have that New York Comic Con exclusive, the purple Megatron, the translucent purple Megatron.
Yeah.
And he's huge. Like, he's ginormous. And I only took him out of the box once, and I put him back in the box. I don't want him. Like, I'm thinking about selling him, but it's like I'm kind of worried about shipping. Because I have to rewrap it inside the box so that it doesn't get whacked around. Who is Dante Basco?
Yeah, I keep seeing that name.
Who is that?
Let's see. Dante Basco sounds like a mobster. Or am I thinking of? Let's see, Donnie. Oh, yeah, I see who he is. All right, I recognize him. Dante Basco. Remember him?
Doesn't ring a bell. Don't know why.
I remember him. I don't know what he was in, but I definitely remember him. Let's see. Oh, yeah, he was Rufio in Hook, wasn't he? Rufio.
Yeah, I'm thinking Donnie Brasco.
That's what I was saying.
That's what it is. That's what you're thinking.
Yeah, I think he was Rufio in Hook. He's been a voice actor, Avatar. So I guess they're asking, do you think he would do Rodimus?
I don't know. I'd have to hear his voice and think about it, and that's really a matter of casting, and that's not like my forte. I don't usually do casting like fan castings, because the way I look at it is like I'd rather a professional be able to pick up the people who they feel is right, and but then fans can make the judgment call after the fact, because to the fans, like when we hear a voice actor, we have a certain voice that we think in the head of that character, unless it's a new character. Like if it's a brand new character to the show, or to the franchise, then like when you hear the voice, then that's going to be your new, like, this is who I think the character sounds like. So when we hear like a lot of the voices in War for Cybertron, we're like, that ain't right.
No. And you can test it, right?
Mm-hmm.
By read a comic book or read a book or read a quote from a character, and what voice do you hear in your head?
Mm-hmm.
Odds are it's not going to be the one from Siege. Not to say that there's not some good voice acting.
Oh no, Mirage, in my opinion, was one of, if not the best in Netflix's series. So was Elita One's voice in that series. I really dug. I think that Frank Totoro did a great Starscream. Considering the fact that, like, who else can we get? We can get Tom Kenny, but he's going to be expensive. We can get Steve Bloom, I think, but he's going to be expensive. Can't get Chris Clada. And what they were going for was P1 Starscream.
you've got to, I mean, when it goes into making these things, you have to pick and choose. You don't have an unlimited budget.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want it to not look like Beast Wars and you want it to look like Beast Wars and have fantastic voice actors, sure, we could do that.
Yeah.
You want it to look like Siege and have good voice actors, we can do that too. Because, right. I mean, there's going to be a generation of folks, maybe not as much, but that see this for the first time, and this is going to be their Optimus, this is going to be their Elita 1, and everything else will sound weird. So.
To some, maybe, but here's the thing: like, to a lot of fans that are making the biggest complaints are the ones that are the Prime fans, the ones who are fans of Prime, and that's what's nice. What's good about that to the Prime fans is that that's a good connection to G1 because that's Peter Cullen, that's Frank Welker. That's the G1 fan. That's the Prime fan. So it's a cross-generational gap between us older folks, you know, and the kids who grew up on Prime and are now seeing the Netflix series and going, I can't get adjusted to this new Optimus at all. And if anything, I've made my piece about like this Optimus is just not a good Optimus. He's not a good character, and he's not voiced well. You know, not that the guy who's playing him can't play something good, but when he gets angry, he becomes Batman.
Yeah, it's exactly right. It's the Chris Nolan Batman voice thing that I can't get behind.
This city showed you it has the capacity for good. Like
a lot of that can get chalked up to directing too, because if they're directed that way, then they're going to give there's a lot more to it than just a guy in front of a microphone talking. But it's not. Again, I don't think he's a well written Prime anyway.
No, I mean, not at all. The whole entire premise of him going to Megatron and then saying, say that you forgive me, like that line just doesn't work. It doesn't matter if the idea is that Optimus is not someone who's going to go off and kill someone. That I understand that premise, but it was handled so bad.
When I watched that and that line came across, it threw me right out of the show.
Yep.
Like I was like, what? That's say that you forgive me. What?
Yeah. Oh, like I was like, what? I couldn't, like you said, it just literally removed you from the show. And I just, man, I was so annoyed by it.
Yeah, I did too. This face right here that I'm doing right now is what I did when it happened. I was like,
yeah,
what?
I know.
It was awful.
The other thing was there was a lot of weird disconnects between the lines. Like I made this mention to FJ DeSanto when I had interviewed him, and I think it might have been on camera or might have been off camera. I don't know if it was off camera that I talked about this, but it was basically like, do you think that maybe because of the way that the way that actually it might have not been in here, might have been one of the voice actors, but that the fact that they weren't in the same room together and bouncing off each other and like talking to each other back and forth was, to me, that was that's a better way to handle like an ensemble cast like that. And instead what we have is they're in the individual booth and they're just delivering their line, and then they just Frankenstein it together. Like, and if Frankenstein it together, it doesn't come across the way that you think that you'd want it, you know? And
that's one of my complaints about the whole Bayverse movies is, thanks, Mark. I think that's one of the big complaints I have about the Bayverse movies is it all sounded like, when you walk down the toy aisle and you push a button on a figure that has a voice thing and it just spouts this line, I feel like that's the way the audio was for a lot of Siege and Bayverse. And then it was just kind of put together in some random order. And it just completely doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel like a conversation. again, Alita 1 is the exception. Those she
was able to handle it, and I think it's because she's been doing it that way for a long time. You know, some of them that I wonder if they like some of the characters were handled very well, and those are the ones that we pointed out, like Frank Totoro. I think Jason Marnocha's Megatron was I liked Megatron. I don't know about you.
No, I think I like.
My wife actually didn't like that Megatron.
I liked Megatron more than Prime.
Oh yeah. To me, Prime was the worst part of the entirety of the show. Like it just his entire arc, his entire personality, his dialogue, the way that he said certain things, the way that and then the voice actor, the way that he delivered certain things, his inability to remain in a Peter Cullen-esque Optimus Prime voice. But
yeah, Prime should be noble. Like I get they want to make him like I think they were going for some sort of more relatable type character, but relatable character is what you do with Hot Rod. Prime is noble.
Hear me out though. I understand what you're saying there, and my issue with it is where it is in Prime's time, like in his timeline. He is on his way to Earth. This is the end of the war on Cybertron, and now they're going to Earth. The prehistory of that is that Optimus has been leader of the Autobots for how long?
Well, at this point, since whenever the revolt was, right? Whenever they split.
Right. So the war has been going on for how long? And if for Optimus Prime would be, he would try to remain noble throughout, but he could have had his beginning faults when he first got the Matrix.
Yes, that's right.
He could have gotten his beginning faults at the beginning of the war. But towards like now the leaving Cybertron, there was nothing about this Optimus that was redeemable. There was nothing about this Optimus that felt like this is the guy that I'm going to see become, leading the Autobots on Earth and caring about his fellow Autobots. He doesn't care about his fellow Autobots, really. Like, he just more is like...
No, he was willing to doom the entire planet to throw the...
Which is understandable if it's Optimus making a mistake, but let him state those things. Like, I may have made a mistake, but we can stop the Decepticons, because we know the Decepticons were going to do something evil. He could have made something to give. He cared more about Megatron than he cared about his fellow Autobots.
That's right.
He cared about Megatron. To him, like, Megatron was like his,
Well, the trilogy so far to me is a story about Megatron, and everybody else is the supporting cast.
Yep.
Because of how Megatron is delivered and the growth. You see more growth in what Megatron is becoming than you do see growth in
You're
what
seeing him grow to become more evil as the series progresses. Like, he's evil at the beginning, but he's not fully evil. And like, he descends into evil. And I'm okay with that, because by the time of halfway through Earthrise, he's psychotic. He's like willing to allow Shockwave to annihilate how many Transformers to power the Nemesis. Like, he doesn't care, but Optimus was just abysmal, and Skylink's giving him the pep talk. Skylinks' pep talk should have been, it should have led to Optimus, like, at that point saying, I'm not going to stop till Megatron is stopped. Like, we're going to stop Megatron from destroying and killing everyone.
I would have almost rather them I'll say this. I would have almost rather them treated the Optimus that we saw in Siege and Earthrise as Orion Pax, and him, because like you're saying, in the timeline of his life right now, if the war is going on and they were on the verge of escaping to Earth like they did in G1 originally,
right,
then the Prime that leaves Cybertron is the same Prime that wakes up on Earth. So that growth needed to happen to where the one that we see pop up on Earth is this proud leader,
yep,
this noble figure that is willing make some mistakes, but is also willing to lead his people. And the one that we have right now isn't that.
Not at all.
To see that.
And they switched Ironhide and Hound. That to me like made no sense. I loved Galvatron in the series. Absolutely, that was just great. But Galvatron should have been in episode 6. They should have kept Galvatron until the end of the series.
Mark Knoll says, I wonder if they gave Ironhide and Hound's actors the wrong character lines.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I have a theory. And you guys are hearing this theory now. This is my theory on Skylinks. That's the identity of the Ark.
Oh, you think like Skylinks' spark is
transferred into the Ark at the time of in the Dead universe when he got blasted, and then Cog says, "Oh, hey, the Ark just got a gallant of information, and we don't know why."
Oh,
Skylinks could have transferred himself into the Ark using the Dead universe and the beam of energy.
That would actually be really cool.
And then that's the reason why the Ark transforms.
That actually, I could get behind that.
Like I'm honestly thinking that that's the theory for the Ark, and that's just the theory. Like, so it's not. I don't know future ideas, but Skylinks' sacrifice should have been enough motivation for the pep talk. It's hard to try to actually be a better cat. Exactly. Totally.
Well, that would have been a great transformation scene there. Like if some sort of growing up happened in the same way that we see it in G1, where Orion Pax goes in and Optimus comes out with the Matrix, and he's renewed in this new role.
Yeah.
That could have been that moment with Skylinks, to where after he leaves the Dead universe, he is basically Optimus Prime for real now.
Yep. He should have been there. And he was, and that last episode was like literally derailed every little bit of character development that was in. If episode 5 was pivotal for Optimus's story, then it should have been, we should have seen that in episode 6, and we didn't.
And that was do it all the time, to where you get this young, not as strong leader, and then you flip the page and it's this big 2-page spread of, now you've got this shot from the foot up to the head, where the character's now standing tall, broad-shouldered, knows his purpose, knows his role, has a plan on something to do. That would have been fantastic.
Yep. It would have been great if he actually did that. Like, instead, he doesn't do that at all. And it's just, to me, it ruined the character in this continuity for me in such a way that I just like, I chucked my Siege Optimus across the room in anger.
Forgive me,
plastic, so it's gonna survive. But I was just in that angry about it, and I'm like, I'm glad I have Earthrise Prime, because Earthrise Prime is not in the cartoon. So,
and it's funny. I was thinking about the Earthrise character, so I was okay with. I understood that Earthrise wasn't going to be on Earth. Like, I knew the story couldn't just. They told us it was going to be in space and all that, and that there's no reason for them to have Earth modes in the series yet. But what I'm confused about is the Earthrise figures, of course, are all Earth mode vehicles. But we're going to go into Kingdom, which is set in the distant past, so there are no Earth vehicles. So are we going to get Siege?
I got a theory on that.
Figures the whole time.
I got a theory on that. Yeah, it's going to be Siege transformations and vehicles all the time. They're not doing new models. They don't have enough money for that.
Right.
My theory on timeline is that they're not in the timeline. They're in an alternate reality.
Oh yeah, I can totally see that.
Because Exhaust and Bugbite said, when we go back to our own paradox or something like that, they made a line before Cog blasted them out of the airlock. which, by the way, exhaust getting hit in the face was important because exhaust getting hit in the face was done because when Hasbro wanted they wanted the cone heads on the Seekers, but they knew they had to use the Siege molds because it was pre-Earth. It cost them more money to make new heads. They had done the work for exhaust using the Wheeljack head so that the colors were there, but they sent the model to Hasbro and Hasbro never responded in time. And by that point, they couldn't go back and change it. So they just went ahead with the Wheeljack head, style head, and him getting blasted in the face means that if he does come back, he can come back with the exhaust head. But yeah, but the thing is that they said that there was that they were in a paradox or something like that, which means to me that they actually split into a different timeline because War for Cybertron doesn't take place in G1 cartoon or comic book continuity. It takes place in its own timeline. So switching over to the Beast Wars timeline. The Beast Wars timeline is supposed to take place in G1. And so what I think actually happens is that the arc that crashed on Earth at the end of Earthrise, and the reason why the Beast Wars characters are there is because they're already on a prehistoric Earth where the Ark and Nemesis already had their crash moment because the dead universe catapulted them into a different timeline. And catapulted them into a Beast Wars timeline.
Yep, I completely agree. I think that, and I absolutely 100% am on board with that. That it's not just time travel; it's universe travel.
Yep,
absolutely.
And it's caused by the portal into the dead universe.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a multiverse type aspect to it.
Exactly. So and that's the thing that I even think that that's the thing that I even think that FJ DeSanto was alluding to. So we can look at Siege Optimus as it's not really our Optimus.
Mm-hmm. No, it's definitely not. Yeah, and it's smart. It's really smart because it allows G1 fans to keep all the love and nostalgia that we have. They're not ruining our childhood.
Yeah,
is the term.
But doesn't necessarily mean that I like it or forgive it, because
right.
I still think that in a way it almost ruins the Optimus character, but it allows me to separate this universe and not be as harsh on it or harsh on its creators as some might be. The series has its major flaws, which we've pointed out, but there's still but it still has things that are about it that it has a lot of golden nuggets, and this is something just as I talked to you about in the beginning of the stream, how I've been watching other movies. I watched Next Karate Kid. It's a bad movie, but it has a lot of golden nuggets, little golden nuggets in it that you can sit there and enjoy the movie. And even though it's a bad movie, it's badly written, it's bad dialogue, it kind of ruins some things in the Karate Kid continuity. It's one of I think it's the only movie in continuity that the Cobra Kai writers haven't yet or may not even acknowledge. And yet it has a lot of golden nuggets. It has things that you can go, I like this. I like this. I like how they did this. I can get on board with this. And I would say the same thing about the War for Cybertron. A lot of people were mentioning before I saw the comments about the slow, methodical voice acting and how, to me, it does need a little bit of speed up. In fact, if you watch the movie, if you watch the series on 1.25 speed, it's a lot better.
That makes sense. And another thing is when you were talking to brain fart on his name, the showrunner. And he mentioned some of the limitations they had were Netflix saying he said he would love to have a 12 episode arc, but Netflix wouldn't let him, so it forces them to squeeze as much as they can into six episodes.
Yep.
I mean, I get they have limitations, and I'm sure he would love to have a 23 episode season and fill in all the story gaps, but it is what it is. I know it sounds like I'm dogging out Earthrise and Siege, and I don't mean to do that because I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
But it had its problems.
It had. I think Earthrise had a lot of problems that I think that a lot of fans may tune out to. But Kingdom, what gets me excited about Kingdom is Beast Wars, and I'm just but at the same time cautiously optimistic because I want them to do Beast Wars justice.
And see, I'm kind of on the other side of that because I didn't. But by the time 96 rolled around and Beast Wars came out, I've mentioned this before, I wasn't as involved in TV and watching cartoons and stuff. I was, 19 going on. I was old enough. I was out working and I wasn't at home all the time anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't have the deep connection that a lot of folks that I know rightfully have to Beast Wars because it is such a fantastic story. So I'm going to be in a position where I'm going to have a little bit more freedom of mind to say, what you guys do for Kingdom is not what I know of Beast Wars, but I just don't have that huge connection like I know a lot of folks do for very good reason. But it frees me up a little bit to maybe enjoy it. Because I don't have as much.
Yeah. I mean, season 2 of Beast Wars is so good. It's so good. It's so well written. The episodes leading to the end of season 1 of Beast Wars, and then all the way up until I want to say 2 episodes into season 3 of Beast Wars is golden. It's just straight gold. The storytelling with a lot of the characters are just, you really care about them, what happens to them. I enjoyed all of Beast Wars, literally from all 3 seasons. And Beast Machines, not so much. Everybody will tell you, some people really love Beast Machines and some people just can't stand Beast Machines. I just have a hard time getting into it because of the character shift. And it was written so differently. But Beast Wars in particular is just awesome. And that when they get to first of all, the Starscream possession episode is great. How much of Beast Wars have you seen? Have you watched all of it? Or?
Bits and pieces. I'm about to go on a huge run of Transformers. Since I've got a lot of time on my hands coming up.
Okay.
And I'm gonna do a marathon of. I've got G1 on disc. I'm gonna watch all those. I'm going to watch Beast Wars through and through, and then move into some of the other Japanese animation that I had.
Okay. Yeah, you will. I will say this much. I mean, first of all, obviously, we all love G1. So, to me, sure. G1 is like the bee's knees. But Beast Wars, I think if you really give it the opportunity that you can, and understanding the animation limitations of the 90s, you can just absolutely love what they did with Beast Wars as a whole, and understanding that the writers of the show had no prior knowledge to Transformers, but they did have animation, but they got fan input from Ben Yee, and who made sure that they knew what they needed to know. Thank you, Mark. Beast Wars is basically season 5 of G1. That's a good way of looking at it.
Make no mistake, I've seen Beast Wars, but I haven't seen it in order. I haven't sat down and watched it in order. I've seen episodes and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's my goal, is to sit down and watch it in order.
I need to rewatch Victory. That's on my list of things to rewatch, because I want to do a Star Saber retrospective and I can't quite do that. And I want to do I get people asking me about different characters here and there, like Hound and Inferno and Goldbug, and and people are asking me, and the thing is I'm bringing this up again because I'm seeing the comments coming through again, but and also because there's 130 people, and at the beginning of the stream I had mentioned I have a folder of 30 some odd 40 something folders of scripts that I have started, done research for, and I want to go back and redo some of the older ones. Like before the Beast Wars 25th anniversary comes up in April, I want to redo that retrospective. So I want to sit down and rewatch all of Beast Wars. And that's going to be a goal for me, is to sit down.
I mentioned this before, but I don't know if you remember this. It's kind of off the wall, but when the Xbox One came out, it might have been the Xbox One. Yeah, it had to be. I guess it could have been on 360. Unimportant. But Netflix, when they really started pushing their streaming services onto the boxes, the Xboxes, the PlayStations, and stuff like that, Xbox had a feature within Netflix that if, let's say, you had a Netflix account and an Xbox, and I had a Netflix account and an Xbox, we could co-watch a show. So, like, you could be at home watching it, and I could be at home watching it, and we're talking on our headset.
Huh.
It was a fantastic feature that probably never got used, but something like that for this past year would have been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like we could watch Beast Wars, hanging out at our houses, watching it on the couch.
Truck and the Monkey, Transformers fan through and through. I will admit, in the 90s, I was a truck, not monkey guy. I will admit that. But think about this. Why am I called RodimusPrimal? I became a Beast Wars fan, clearly.
That's right.
There
was obviously a transition somewhere.
Is there a good dub over a victory? No. The only way you're going to be able to watch it is by subtitles, straight subtitles.
I think there was some on YouTube, and they're okay.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to get a good dub of that, and the English dub is really bad. the official one that was made by the Australian company, I think it was, or I could be wrong. I don't know who actually did the dub.
They took a few things literal translation rather
right, and they also called God Jinrai Optimus Prime.
Yeah, that's right.
Because it's a different character.
Not the same character.
Just like the Bayverse, Optimus Prime and Nemesis. Yes. Well, that's one of the many things that I don't like about the live action films. But we're not going to go there. We're not.
It's a positive stream. Positive stream.
We're chilling out. We're snowed in. 125 people watching, and there is a good, I want to say 3 or 4 inches on the ground already. And we're supposed to get hit with 12 inches of snow where I live. So I'm chilling. I'm chilling. I got this bad boy here that everybody probably wants to see me do a review on. Earthrise Megatron. Might as well while you can chime into Kato, but I'll talk about him. Put this on solo so everybody can see. So here is Earthrise Megatron. And, I opened up out of the box because I was like, I want to see the differences between him and the Siege one. And the thing is a lot of people don't like that new head sculpt. The head sculpt doesn't bother me as much. What bothers me is the paint scheme. A lot of people bought this toy, the G2 one. And I'm particular about the G2 one because I want the shoulder cannon on the top, this. But the problem is that they decided to mold the sword into it. And you could, if you want to, take a screwdriver and unscrew that out. But it's just, why did they do that?
has a 3D printer guy that's good at this stuff? Have they made any add-on kits for that?
They have not.
Those two pieces?
The only thing that I've seen so far, people with 3D prints and stuff, is to put the shoulder cannon up here using the peg here. And then if you decide to use this, which came with Soundwave, you can put it back here to try and get that G1 cannon sticking out. Because if you use the cannon from here, it sticks out like this high. It's ridiculous, right? So, the thing about that is that I have my customized Siege Megatron, and this one I painted, and you can see the chrome on his chest. you can see how nice his head looks, how big that sword is, right? And then you compare it to the Earthrise Megatron, and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to have to paint this bad boy. I like the sculpting detail on this one. I love the legs being smoother. I love this bigger, chunky chest. I like this on the grill on the side. I wish this was red. I wish the tank was gray. You know, I wish that the treads were painted a different color. I wish that it wasn't dirty. You know, Siege gave us dirty. I undid the dirty on him. I don't want the dirty on him. I want a good, clean G1 cartoon Megatron. And if you're so interested in making this a Marvel Megatron, you're still going to have to paint this, and then you're going to have to paint the head, which I want the cartoon head. So this, to me, I this is where I said I don't mind the head as much compared to this one. Like, it doesn't bother me that bad. I know a lot of people say that they're like, it's like the same figure, but it's not. The other thing is this weird piece, this weird plastic piece, which makes,
what is that?
Like, it's supposed to be a panel that goes here.
What does it serve, though?
The purpose that it serves is in tank mode. It goes in the back.
Okay.
So if I transform it, right, and the transformation is literally the exact same for the most part, except that, the Megatron doesn't have the flaps on the side, which, by the way, again, black on the back of the arms. When this Megatron doesn't have black on the back of his arms,
right?
You know, instead of having the weird flap thing in order, you know, for tank mode, it's one piece, which is great, but it's black on the back. Why? Why?
Yeah, I've mentioned to you before, I'm not a huge fan of the Siege or Earthrise mold for Megatron. I've got a few of the Siege.
Cannons are different.
It's
kind of hard to tell, you know, doing this like you know, live on camera, but the cannons are different. They're molded different. This one is more G1 cartoon and toy. Oh no, this is G1 cartoon accurate, except for the barrel itself is not that big. But the figure itself's not bad. Transforming it, it's quite easy. Oh, they also fixed that weird thing so the head doesn't get pushed down anymore, which was great. But transforming him, he's got it's similar but slightly different. So you have to, and I'm just going to do it like live on camera.
The pressure of live transformation.
I know, right? Oops.
The lack of being able to edit.
Can't make
edit. I
can't
swear,
make cuts. Can't go, oh yeah, you're supposed to do this, right? So like then trying to get the head to like go up and over like so. And then there's these tabs here on the side of the here where this is supposed to connect to. And making the tank actually does look good, like so far, just looking at the front of the tank. And then you're going to take this piece and stick it in there. But getting the legs was the weirdest problem that I had. You have to like flip them open, then pop out the sides, and then
they got that same weird rotation and twist.
It has the same weird rotation, but yeah, you have to do it like, first of all, you have to do it this way because this is the way the tank treads are supposed to go. But you have to like stick them out, and you have to make sure that this piece, like the inner thigh part of the thigh that's like closer to the waist area, stays put. So like I have to like tilt this and then rotate this and keep this part here straight.
Right.
Otherwise, when it closes, it won't close properly when this part comes in. It's so weird. It's so weird. And then you got to do the same thing on the other side. So I have to like hold that with my thumb and like stick that in just like so. And then the tank itself, when it comes together, You look at that, like it actually like it's. But this is actually one of the cool parts is that it's a full tank
rather than the 4-tread tank.
Right. That's the cool thing about the Earthrise Megatron, except for the feet dangling out of the back. And then this piece here, which is really weird, the whole little black plastic piece, it has to go like the down part has to be facing in, I think. And then there are these tabs that you have to like stick in to like get in there. And it's just a pain in the butt. And it's just basically to fill in the back of the tank.
Oh, okay. So it just makes it so it's not so wide and gappy in the back.
Right. That's kind of like the idea behind it. And then the front part here comes in like so and makes a tank.
I like the alt mode. I think I like the alt mode better than Siege for sure.
Definitely. Like it once it's together as a tank, it actually looks good. But the colors. It's the colors that bother me. It's because I understand that this is a G1 robot with an Earth tank because we can't have the gun. I get that. But I wish this tank was better, number one. And I wish the colors were better. Like, give us the G1 cartoon colors, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Be fine.
Well, you want them to commit. Like, pick something and do it.
All right. Look, this one person is spamming, and I'm noticing it, and I am going to put that user in timeout.
Yeah, I think there was a couple.
So, like, I'm basically giving you guys a live review. So, that's what you guys got was a review. And yes, I do have a whole folder full of stuff. I know you guys have been asking and requesting for retrospectives on characters. Again, I'm going to literally read a bunch of these folders. I'm going to read a bunch of these folders for you so you guys have an idea of what's coming.
Teasers.
Wheelie is the one I have the most amount of content written for. I have content written for every single one. Hound, Impactor, Inferno, Cup, Aerial Bots, Blaster, Blur, Cassettes, Combaticons, Duocons, G2, Goldbug, Grimlock, Headmasters, Prowl, Sideswipe, Six Shot, Skids, Skywarp, Thundercracker, Technobots, Trailbreaker, Warpath, Wreckers, what caused the G1 cartoon to end, why I love Rodimus Prime, and Mudflap. Maybe I don't know if I want to do Mudflap. I haven't done anything. I haven't looked at anything up for Mudflap because he's just it's just an added. Yeah,
that's 27 possible retrospectives.
Yeah, and I didn't even read them all. I only read a few of them. So, all of that stuff is stuff that I want to talk about in retrospectives in the future, because I work very diligently on every single one of them, and I want to see more content coming out of this channel and my second channel, but I'm pushing to try and get more people to watch the current content that I have. I have
the stuff that's there.
I have reviews. I have I have 60 Transformers discussions / retrospectives on the channel now. And that, they took a long time to make.
Yeah, if you don't play around, you do a lot of writing, a lot of research, a lot of editing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a script. I can't do scripts. If I script anything, it's going to be terrible. I just don't have the patience for it. That's why I do reviews and not retrospectives. I can look at what's in front of me, show you what's in front of me, and then roll credits.
Yeah.
If I try to come up with a story, I can. I have written, but I'm going to leave that to you guys.
I know a lot of people liked my King Kong versus Godzilla. I actually did. It was basically a retrospective of King Kong versus Godzilla, but for me, like as a fan of someone who just like the first time King Kong versus Godzilla was the first Godzilla movie I ever saw. And I obviously it was the American version.
The first Godzilla movie I saw, I watched plenty of it on TV. I watched Godzilla and Ultraman a lot as a kid, but I think the first Godzilla movie I saw, was it just called Godzilla 1986?
Godzilla 1985?
85. Yeah. That was the first one I saw in a theater, I think.
Raymond Burr?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was Godzilla 1985.
I actually, you know what's funny? On my desk is the Japanese version on Blu-ray.
Nice. Very cool.
Great movie. This version is a lot better than the Americanized version.
Are you still getting a lot of the newer NECA Godzilla figures? Do you get
No, I want to. I saw I was in the store recently and I saw a Heisei Godzilla and I was like, oh man, like he's so good look. Like it was so posable.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I want to get that figure just so I have a good Heisei figure. Cause I have the Trend Masters ones from way back in the 90s. God, are they awful?
Oh yeah. But these new ones look really good.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They look fantastic. And virtually every version of him that you can imagine is coming out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you were saying earlier about Silverhawks and Super 7. I have some of the Super 7 Thundercats, and I like what Four Horsemen Studios, who actually makes them, and Super 7 distributes them. But I would rather see someone like even Hasbro or Mattel or someone like that get
Trypticon versus Mechagodzilla. Trypticon's bigger than Godzilla.
Let's see.
Trypticon height. Actually, I'm just going to look that up real quick. People are gonna want to know that the detail on that. Trypticon height.
I'll look up Mechagodzilla height.
He's either 50 meters or 120 meters. Trypticon is 915 feet tall.
Yeah. Mechagodzilla is 50 meters, 160 feet. So, yeah, Trypticon would step on him.
Yeah. Trypticon is huge, like ginormous huge. Like Godzilla Earth, I think, would be equivalent size, which I do not like those films.
I don't know those films. I'm uneducated on Godzilla as much. Godzilla Earth is 300 meters.
Okay. So
984 feet.
Oh, so he's bigger than Trypticon.
That's huge.
Yeah. 984
feet.
No one likes Netflix Godzilla.
I tried.
That's what it was from, was the Netflix Godzilla.
Oh, was it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I tried watching Netflix Godzilla. I couldn't finish it, which is a shame because I enjoyed like Netflix Voltron. I thought that was a good show. It had its moments of disappointment, but I liked it.
Yeah. Overall. Yeah. Overall, I like the Netflix Voltron. I will say that. There's a new Godzilla anime, and that's all about Showa goodness. Ooh, I'm gonna have to see that. Ray Vankman just posted that.
Oh yeah.
Poor dude can't
get into it. I really do like the Godzilla flicks. I like the old rubber suit films. I loved Ultraman and Godzilla growing up. Just somehow I diverted and didn't get into it. I watched like the Matthew Broderick Godzilla. I watched the more modern Godzilla, and I saw the Matthew Broderick one in theaters, and boy was I disappointed. Yeah, but see, that's another thing. That's one of those times where me, not as such a hardcore fan, I at the time I probably thought it was okay.
Like Godzilla didn't even shoot fire. He like barely did the roar. He got killed by missiles. I'm like, this is Godzilla.
Thousand Wolf says Netflix Ultraman is good. I do. Yeah, it is good. They did a good job with Ultraman, tying in the old story, the old history of Ultraman to the new show. Really good.
Interesting.
I enjoyed it.
Most interesting.
I thought it was going to be a straight up reboot of Ultraman, but they tie into the old history in a good way.
One of my favorite lines in Godzilla Final Wars was, "I knew that tuna eating monster wasn't good for anything or whatever." Next, and then Godzilla goes off and like on a rampage, killing everything else on his path.
Are you enjoying the new MonsterVerse though? Like the whole idea of the MonsterVerse?
It's been okay. It's been enjoyable. It's good popcorn fun.
Mm-hmm.
I what I didn't like about King of the Monsters was the fights were Michael Bay-esque, if that makes any sense.
Sure, yeah.
And what I mean by that is two monsters are going at it, and they're going at it like this.
Yeah.
And you're at a worm's eye perspective.
Yeah,
I don't like that. That's one of the things about Michael Bay's Transformers films that just bugged the ever living F out of me.
Yeah.
Because I want to see Transformers fight, battling each other, but they're so busy fighting in your face. And it just took me like it was too chaotic. At least that was my issue with King of the Monsters. My issue with the 2014 film was there was only 8 minutes of Godzilla.
Pacific Rim did that pretty well, I think. As far as like giving you some distance between some of the fights and seeing how big they were without shoving them right up without the camera being right at their feet.
Yep.
I think they did a good job.
Pacific Rim was great. I like Pacific Rim. Second one. I didn't see the second Pacific Rim though. I heard it wasn't that good.
Yeah. So what's another one that did pretty well? I guess Cloverfield, in a way.
That one gets you sick.
Yeah. The shaky cam.
The shaky cam, yeah. Like everything moving this way, just too much. Oh. Like I don't mind. Yeah.
I said the same thing. Yeah.
I love roller coasters. So I don't mind getting shaken up a bit. But if I don't go to a movie theater to go watch a roller coaster.
Yeah. So that big craze of the found footage films.
Yeah,
that bothered me a little bit. It really kicked off, I think, with Blair Witch. Would that be one of the earlier ones that kind of made it popular? The found footage stuff.
Second Rim killed the franchise. Interesting.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I haven't.
Oh,
King Kong suplex.
Stunner! Oh my God, Stunner!
That is, as soon as that movie comes out, if anything like that happens, that is going to be a meme haven.
Oh yes.
Yeah. RKO out of nowhere is coming back.
Rock bottom.
Yeah. It's all coming.
Ginyu Force introductions.
Ginyu Force. That's right. We need the big Ginyu Force introductions. That's funny. Real funny. Oh, man.
This has been a lot of fun.
The cream will rise to the top.
Oh, man. We went from Transformers to Godzilla to monsters in general to WWE.
Now I need to go get something to eat.
It's 4:30, so yeah. I mean, it's a little early for dinner, but wait, where was that? Yeah, the cream will rise to the top. Oh yeah.
Where's Michael Mercy at? We need Michael Mercy in here to do his impression real quick.
Hold on a second. Let me think about it. I'm in a position that I'd rather not be, but the cream will rise to the top. Oh yeah. Are you saying you blame President Jack Tunney for the Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Great character.
Have you ever seen the Arsenio Hall interview with Macho Man Randy Savage? He's like, he goes to the co-host. She was like a blonde lady or whatever. He's like, don't freak out. Chill out. Like, tells her to relax.
He had so much personality.
Oh, I loved Macho Man Randy Savage. He was ahead of his time, man.
Yeah. That was, I watched an interview. I forget who it was with, but it was Roddy Piper, who I love. I think I absolutely adore Roddy Piper.
On balance, off balance, doesn't matter. I'm better than you are.
He went into a whole spiel that Roddy Piper did about how he missed what wrestling was and how fun it was for kids to watch and how it turned around. I love Roddy Piper and that whole generation of wrestling. How much
does this guy weigh? You got to get the JR announcer, like specific from the 90s, like, oh my God, it's a slobber knocker.
That was a good times, man. I love wrestling.
Do I think Clancy Brown? I don't know.
I like Clancy Brown's voice for sure.
He's done a lot of great stuff. He's been in Transformers stuff more than once, hasn't he?
I'm sure he has, man. He has done so many voices. I love his Lex Luthor.
Mm-hmm.
To me, he is Lex Luthor's voice. It's perfect. But,
it's funny though. Actually, the voice of Lex Luthor in Challenger of the Super Friends, was it Challenger of the Super Friends, or was the voice of Zarak in the Rebirth?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know that. Yeah. Challenge of the Super Friends. That was a great turn in animated like superhero stuff.
We had the Legion of Doom and you had the fights with Darkseid.
Yeah, it upped the storytelling a lot from the Super Friends, right? The Super Friends, you had the core cast, but Challenge of the Super Friends is probably what Justice League and Justice League Unlimited took most of the cues from, as far as like having multiple stories and telling individual character stories and stuff. That was a good time. Great theme song. Great theme song.
Yeah, and then you had the star the transition that they used with the stars was always good. Man, that snow's coming down. That snow's really, really coming down. Who is your Lex Luger kaiju?
Lex Luger?
King Caesar?
Two shall stand, two shall fall.
Well, I think Mechagodzilla is going to be the main villain, and they're going to save the next movie for Godzilla versus Mecha King Ghidorah.
Speaking of next movies, this is something I wanted to ask earlier. We're going to backtrack again back to Kingdom. We're going to take it back. How do you think Kingdom will end, and do you think it'll end with a tease for whatever's next?
I think it's going to be a clean ending.
You think so? Just like it's going to stop.
Like it's gonna be a conclusion to the story.
I would love for the Marvel style after credits 5-second.
Unfortunately, I've where the story has to go is that what I think is that the paradox has to be eliminated. So it has to be a clean break, a clean ending, so that they don't, because they want, apparently they wanted to tease something for the end of Kingdom, but they needed to make it a clean ending. So
I would just love, like, even if it was just, again, like an end of the multiverse and a streamlined continuity of sorts. If in the vein of, let's see, what would be a good example? The 90s Spider-Man cartoon. I think that would be a good example if I'm thinking right. When he's traveling through Madam Web's little view of history and everything or whatever. The Arrow TV show did it with Flash, where he could see multiple the multiverse as he was passing through the Speed Force. That would be a better example. I'd
Okay.
like some kind of hint at some sort of multiverse coming together, so we get more characters that can come in. Does that make sense? Like, I want to see, even if for a brief second, some glimpse into like a clouded window of the other multiverses or the other.
I think they already kind of did that with what Skylinks was doing with the Nemesis Prime and the death of Optimus. Points that was kind of like, and the line from Exhaust and Bug Bite talking about them being on in a different paradox. Like, once we get back to our regular time stream or something, like, I can't remember what the line was. I have to go back and watch it. But like, that was a line that I saw. I listened to that line like a couple of times, and I was like, they're talking about the fact that they're in a different universe. Yeah. So basically, this is like, I think that Kingdom is going to be like a crisis on Infinite Cybertrons, but Crisis on Infinite Earths with Transformers universe, because they're going to go to a prehistoric Earth where a version of the Beast Wars is taking place, and so continuities are going to get screwed up. So
which is why I'd like at the end of it to get a New 52 type feel, like where a crisis happened and you get New 52. You get, like, now it's all streamlined and you've got this kind of multiple characters living in the same universe, multiple versions.
Yeah.
It would be nice. It would really be cool to see our Optimus somehow give advice to this stupid Optimus.
That would be hilarious. What I personally would like to see after Kingdom is over is, I want us to go back to, like, to maybe do an anthology series. Mm-hmm. Do something that brings us to, like, if we can revisit the G1 cartoon continuity and revisit in a way that allows all of these other characters from other timelines to pop in, at the same time allows us to tell good stories. What I mean?
More of an Into the Spider-Verse type thing rather than a New 52, where there are multiple universes and they all exist and they can kind of interact with each other once in a while.
Well, I mean, I think that's what Kingdom is doing. But what I'm saying is that instead of doing that, why not do, like, let's do an episode that takes place, that tells the story of the origin of the Protectobots in the G1 cartoon.
I got you.
Why don't we tell an episode that takes place, what was Elita 1's reaction to Optimus Prime's death after the movie?
Gotcha.
Why don't we tell an episode that takes place, let's see, you have an episode that does a couple of flashbacks to before they came to Earth, and maybe use some similar elements from Siege, but do something with some of the G1 characters. Why not tell some episodes that take place after the rebirth? Bring in characters like Windblade, bring in characters like Victorion, bring in some of the new generations of characters, bring in Demolisher, bring in Lugnut, bring in any of those characters from ones that people really liked, and from other Transformers continuities, and kind of make it to fit into the G1 G1 cartoon, but be good, interesting, singular stories, but have a something within the episodes that kind of like connects them all, so that by the end of the season, all of the episodes that you watched that you thought had no point actually made a point at the end.
Sure.
Like, that would be pretty cool to, like, do something like that.
And ultimately, I want brand new stories with brand new characters. I'd love some new people, new faces.
The War for Cybertron trilogy is doing the trope of expecting people to already know most of the story beats and plot instead of telling new fans what things are, which is unfortunate side effect of short episode I'm guessing short episode length is what he meant to say.
I agree with that. I think I mentioned that to Patriot Prime on one of our streams. Is like, if you're not already a Transformers fan, there's not a lot of reason to watch the series.
Bert, my man.
Bert. Hey, Bert.
Bert's awesome. If you guys have not seen Bert's channel before, he's an awesome dude for sure.
Really, really cool dude. He's entering the live stream territory now too.
He can start. If he and I get started on talking about giant robots outside of Transformers,
game over, man.
Game over, man. Bert,
great guy for sure. But don't tell him that. Don't tell him I said that.
Please not Windblade or Victorion. I know some people don't care for that. Still want a Commander class Lugnut. How about Tidal Wave? Tidal Wave. Like
Victorion. I think that's a good set. I have that set still boxed up.
Her arms are a little funky, like the way the fists connect, and the feet don't like to stay up very well.
Pretty much.
I have Sunbow OP taken from his final battle with Megatron and help a new Optimus Prime while accepting his own fate in a crossover story to Dreamwave's Twice Upon a Time. Huh.
Okay.
That's interesting. That sounds very interesting.
I miss the Dreamwave books.
Yeah, so do I. I still have all of my my physical copies of them.
That's how I got my Transformers fix for the longest time, was Dreamwave.
It was such a revival. Like, I remember because Armada was coming out, I think, around the same time. And Beast Machines was like, and Robots in Disguise were like, Robots in Disguise was kind of like that. We're going back to Cars and Trucks. We're going back to Cars and Trucks. We're going back to Cars and Trucks. And then all of a sudden the Dreamwave books come out and you're like, oh, I have to read these books.
The artwork was so just, I loved it. Like I say,
out of proportion though. Pat Lee's putting an arm here, where it's chest over here.
Yeah. But I loved Pat Lee's art. I think it probably kept me interested in Transformers overall. Yeah, I do miss Dreamwave. I mean, I like some of the IDW stuff. I'm not a huge IDW fan, but Dreamwave for me, like the Dinobots, the War Within. Yeah, that War for Cybertron is basically the War Within.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
just done not done as well as it could have been.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that, but yeah, exactly that.
Have I seen people made pics of Gigawatt stopping? I have. Come on now, guys.
Hot Rod did not kill Optimus.
I honestly should do probably maybe that should be my next topic of discussion. And I can just maybe what I could do is I can just really focus on that and just keep it focused on that topic of discussion. And I don't have to make it all about Hot Rod and all his history and all the things that Hot Rod has ever done. The only thing that I can talk about is how, why, like the beats of the character and other continuities, and then just come back to it without being too going like crazy,
The people want to talk. It's a trope in itself, right? The young rookie feeling responsible for taking out the old cop. It's not a new take, but it's not. He didn't kill Optimus.
No, and I can even go into like time detail, like Prime had time, he had time. Just to answer a question here from Captain Crunch, asks, do I recommend Beast Wars? Yes. First two episodes are a little like they're just setting the groundwork. First season is difficult to, they're very character focused episodes. So you have an individual episode that focuses on Cheetor, that focuses on Tarantulas. It focuses on Pterosaur. It focuses on Rat Trap. Like, focuses on Dinobot. Like, it focuses in on those characters throughout the first season. By midway through the first season, they get to a major event that is integral to the end of season 1. And then there is the Starscream crossover episode, which was great. And then the end of season 1 of Beast Wars, it's a great story because it's like 3 episodes that like tell the story of like the end of season 1. The aftermath of season 1 in like the first episode of season 2, it's a ride from there, man. Like season 2 is phenomenal. I absolutely love season 2.
I remember watching, like I said, I would catch episodes here and there, and I remember watching, like I stumbled on, because this is before DVRs, right? If you didn't catch it, you missed it. I stumbled on the episode where they were inside the Ark, and I was like, I have been missing out.
Yeah,
because that was the one where I remember watching it. I was sitting on like the couch and it was on, and I was like, hold up, what's happening here? And you could see the G1 bots laid out across the Ark, and I'm like, okay, maybe I didn't give this a fair shake.
Yep.
And that from that point on, and even since then, I'm just like, I do need to watch that.
Yep.
And I hate episode. I'm getting summoned. And I have to.
Yeah, I'm just going to answer a couple of questions here, and then we're going to wrap it up real quick. To answer that question, I think that they are. I know that they're making Slag. I'm hoping that they make more. Don't know what characters they're going to make, but I do know that they are making more Dinobots. Let's see. Answer more questions here. What would I do if Bumblebee became a Prime? I don't think he's really like he's not a character that's like, he's better off not as a Prime just because of the way his character is.
If he became a Prime, it would have to be such a giant transformation, even more so than Hot Rod to Rodimus.
Mm-hmm.
He'd have to be a whole new bot.
Happily, the worst of the snow missed me. Oh, well, lucky you. Because it's hitting us hard. It's hitting me hard. I'm going to get 12 inches here. Okay, thanks, man. New Kingdom toys look awesome, especially Megatron. I think I'm going to finish now. Yeah, definitely. Would love to see Beast Wars in G1 animation style. Maybe. Yeah, check out $2,200 Grimlock statue.
I don't think I will.
I'll look at it. How Bumblebee stole Hot Rod's character arc. That is true. Goldbug's on my list. Definitely on my list. I've already mentioned that before. Studio Series 86 Hot Rod. Cons about it would be the arms. Oh, yeah. I think let me actually do that on stream really quickly.
Yeah. I think if you wanted to mention a con about that, you could do I guess some folks would say that it's not really a Voyager class figure.
Right. Well, here's the thing about it is that I actually unscrewed the arms and carved out. I showed pictures on Twitter and I showed pictures on Facebook. You can now look how loose the arms are now. I can go like this now with them, and it makes his posability that much better. But you have to carve out like 1 millimeter's worth of arm. And I showed pictures of what you're supposed to do. And that's how you were able to do it. That's the only con with him out of the box. And on top of that, the yellow joints. The yellow joints, I think I need to get some paint for that. Other than that, Hot Rod's a great toy. Well worth it. The accessories is why he's worth it's why he's a Voyager price.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Fantastic transformation. So much fun.
Would he benefit from Transformers movie from Revenge of the Sith style novelization? I don't know. I do like the idea of going back and revisiting some of the deleted scenes. Maybe. 86 Grimlock is great. I want that toy so bad.
It's so good.
Oh man, look at that.
It's
dude,
so
look
good.
at that. That is awesome looking, dude. I want that toy. I so want that toy.
I haven't seen it in store yet. I ordered it, but Yeah, it's I people gave me a hard time because I said it kind of feels like a really good KO, because it's not like heavy plastic or anything, but that is not an insult because it's really good. And what I need to do is all right, so there are 2 screws back here. I don't know if you'll see them that well. There are 2 screws right there and there, right, that keep this part on. I'm probably going to unscrew those and take that off and just have the gold chest so that you can see the Autobot logo. I see why they did it in dyno mode. The Autobot logo would look kind of out of place, but yeah, I'm going to unscrew that, see how that looks without the shaded piece right here and give it more of a cartoon look. That's the limit of my customization. I can't unscrew it and make it look better. It's staying the way it is.
A lot of people saying he's perfect. Don't have any way to animate Grimlock as he would be my only leader size figure. There was a longer comment that I was looking to answer. I don't. Someone sent me a box full of accessories that has a backpack for her. I opted not to do it because what I want for her is I want gap fillers on the back of her legs, and that's it. And the gap fillers, I want them to match the front of the robot. So like the grooves in the way that the calves turn, I want to see that. And the current gap filler doesn't do that. So I don't particularly care for it. And that's why I've been reluctant to get it. So he was in stock in North Bergen. So that's in North Jersey. I live in central South Jersey. So but we're all getting hit with snow. Only thing you say you're missing is 86 Grimlock sword. Well,
got one coming.
You got one coming?
That will be. I'll have a review up of it. Someone that we've mentioned before has made one, and I'm gonna take a look at it.
Very cool. Very cool. But I think I'm going to get this stream wrapped up. It has been an absolute blast talking, chilling out, trying to answer some folks' questions as people have been commenting. I know I haven't been able to answer everybody, but I've been appreciative of all of you who have stopped by to listen to us talk. I'm going to spend some time with my family. I'm working on my next Transformers discussion video. Kato, of course, you can check him out on his channel, Kato's Collection, right? And it's always a pleasure talking with you and having some another geek to bounce ideas off of.
That's why we do it, man. I started a channel just so I could hang out with like-minded people, and I love doing it.
I love doing it. Absolutely. And, like I said, I'm not going to stop making more Transformers content. I've got my second channel, which is RodimusPrimal Talks. And, and you guys can support the channel if you aren't already, either on Patreon or becoming a channel member. Helps us out, particularly because I have 2 kids and they need to eat. So help support our kids. Well, my kids. So, because I don't think you have any kids, Kato. Nope. Anyway, right?
I have no kids that I know of.
You're lucky. I know I love my kids, but I'm just saying, like, you don't have it's as far as being able to support them. So I absolutely love them to pieces, and I actually I love getting to see them enjoy Transformers too. My kids were running around the living room with Thundercracker and Sideswipe, so it was a lot of fun chasing them around the house, and saying, watching my son who's 2 years old going car vroom vroom, with Sideswipe and car mode, and my daughter's like, turn him into a jet. Where's Starscream? What she likes as her particular favorite characters, and I have to make retrospectives of the characters that she's been asking for too. So she gets the first vote. Yeah, exactly.
That's how it goes.
But as always, guys, until next time, till all are one.